So, Jason, not that long ago, I was talking to someone who's basically in charge of the PKI group at a Global 1000 company, large company. And we were talking about the migration to PQC and what they're doing. And this person said to me, yeah, I'm really going to be glad when this is all done. And I said, oh no, it's never going to be done. And I coined the phrase, which will be on the title of this podcast, which is, it's cryptographic Frogger from here on out.
Yep.
So a little reminder for the listeners, those of you who are too young to remember because you don't have as many gray hairs as Jason and I, Frogger used to be this game where you had this little frog and you had to get it across the road and there were cars and trucks coming at you and you had to dodge them. And if you didn't dodge the cars and trucks, your frog got run over. We are the frog. And I think this is an important point that we need to recognize that this isn't a one and done. This isn't a like, oh God, it's so awful. We're going to have to rip out our RSA and we're going to put in our PQC. And then I'm never going to have to think about this again, right? There are a lot of projects in our life you do exactly once, right? Whatever it is, I have to upgrade the following.
I'll give you one.
Yeah.
And this is why I don't always like the analogy, Y2K.
Yeah.
There's some good analogies.
Y2K was a one and done. Absolutely. Right?
Don't think of it like Y2K.
Sure. That's exactly right. What this is that we need to move to a new normal where we not only can accommodate, but we actively expect that our foundational cryptographic algorithms will update on a regular basis. And I don't mean every 40 years. I mean maybe every 10, maybe less. And we need to build technology, systems, processes, rules, regulations that support that need.
What you're naming is the reason for cryptographic agility.
Right.
Sometimes children need to be told when they're spoiled. It's great to spoil them, but it's also good to tell them they're being spoiled.
Yeah.
Because 40 years of RSA
spoiled us.
We are all spoiled.
For sure. Yeah. 50.
And I'll tell you, here's what's crazy. We will never, ever have another cryptographic algorithm that will last even 4 times that.
Ever again in human history.
Ever again.
Yep. Correct.
And therefore, we must assume for more than at least 2 reasons that I know for sure that we will be swapping algorithms. One of them is deprecations, right? Somebody cracks the implementation. Somebody cracks the math.
Yeah.
But then there's also something that Sophia Sully told us from ITF. She said, there will also be algorithms that will come in the future that are so compelling.
Yeah.
You ain't going to want to use the old ones.
Yeah. Yeah. It's both, right? There's deprecation, someone cracks the math, or just technology advances to the point where we can't use it. That's what it did it to RSA at the end of the day, right? But yeah, absolutely. Even now, we have contestants in the PQC on-ramp that look to be performatively superior to the things that have been standardized as FIPS standards.
Yeah.
And considering that we have so much angst about the performative aspects of these algorithms, it will be sorely tempting to move to the new ones. And what makes you think there aren't going to be new ones? Of course there are.
I'm going to quote, maybe my 3rd time today quoting our colleague Nick France. So I wish he was here to speak his own words, but I'll do it for him, which is, I've heard him say he has doubts that MLDSA will even be used in WebPKI. Now, that's an extreme statement, but I don't even have
you mean because of the possibility it gets replaced by photosynthesis? Yeah, I think for real.
And I think if people turned it on en masse and we saw what broke with the signature size, which is what's forced.
Everything? Wait, everything?
Which is, and therefore, when you look at it like that, it's like, I think Nick has a point.
Yeah.
Which means, OMG. Like everybody's polite little, hey, golf clap, NIST put out their standards. What does it even mean?
Yeah. Right. And you mentioned NIST. The person who originally planted this idea in my mind was Dustin Moody.
He came on the podcast.
Because he said, oh no, this ain't done. This ain't never going to be done. Right?
This
is going to happen as long as we're working.
He convinced me on that podcast.
Yeah.
And I remember I asked the question point blank.
Right.
Will we ever live in an era with 40-year crypto? And he didn't want to laugh. He was very polite.
Right.
And his answer was no chance.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is really important. And I want to bring this up and talk about it because I am seeing an assumption out there that this is like Y2K. I'm glad you brought up that's analogy, that this is a one-time project. It's going to suck. We're going to invest extra and then it's going to be done. We're going to dust off our hands and we're never going to think about it ever again. And I don't believe that is a smart way to plan. We need to plan and we need to build our systems and our processes with the assumption that we may have to swap out our cryptography at any time. The exact same way that we talk about certificate agility, that you have to assume that every given cert might have to be changed at any time, up to and including all of them. You need to build a cryptographic environment that supports the same assumption.
You cannot manage what you don't know you have. That's why you got to be doing your inventory. And that's why it's a 2-for-1 problem, right?
Yeah.
The outcome is a 2-for-1. Killing two birds with one stone. We did that podcast recently. Can't manage what you don't know you have, and you cannot achieve cryptographic agility without certificate agility.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And that's it, folks.
And certificate agility is not sufficient.
Yeah.
We need more. We need it. It's necessary, but it's not sufficient.
So, folks, one thing that I think people took seriously was when NIST said RSA, ECC, deprecation, 2030, totally out of alignment, 2035. People took that real serious. I think what people are not hearing is the next set of sentences, which is, and by the way, that's the first set of deprecations.
Yeah, I agree.
And that please don't let it shock you. That's why we're talking about it now, Tim.
Yep. And just your future is going to be not just that we get this one done. So, and why is this pragmatic? So as we are implementing, don't think about implementing a new algorithm. Think about implementing an agile algorithmic environment. That's the point.
Your vendors are going to have to help you with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because you're not going to roll that yourself.
Yeah.
But expect it.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are security architects right now, you don't make the mistake of hard coding in anything.
I think the implications of this are sweeping, right? And it's going to take a village.
Oh yeah.
Right? And there's lots of stakeholders in different bits of this that all are going to need to do their part. But that's what we're going to have to get to. And that's what we as a tech community need to have our eyes on.
I'll end it on this one from me, repeating something Bruno Couillard said on this very topic, which is, if you're a young person right now and you're choosing like exciting disciplines to go and enter the workforce into, my goodness, this one's ripe. Because the amount of labor it'll take, the amount of innovation it's going to require is endless. And it's not going to just be AI that solves it. It's going to be people over the next your career.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Tim.
There you go. Thank you, Jay.